Hello everyone, the Snowman here, and today I've got an instructional video talking about the UEFA Champions League. I want to go over what exactly the Champions League is. I want to go over how you qualify for it and the format for the competition. It is the biggest annual football competition of the year, and let's break it down. So we'll start off with the question, what is the UEFA Champions League? Well, it is an annual club football competition organized by UEFA. So dissecting that into pieces, annual, it takes place once a year. Clubs, we're dealing with club teams, not international teams, and UEFA, that means that it is only European clubs. This competition contested by the best European teams. This competition, founded in 1955, used to be known as the European Cup, but it was completely rebranded in 1992. Now we know it today as the UEFA Champions League, and yeah, we are battling here for European supremacy. So let's talk qualification. Really, in its final stage, it is a 32-team competition, just like the World Cup, but we have some whittling down to get there. So how do clubs around Europe qualify for the Champions League? Well, it's primarily based upon how you finished in your own domestic league the prior year. So each league is allocated a certain number of qualifying spots based on how good their league is. That's determined by the UEFA coefficient. Basically, the coefficient compiles how well the teams in each league have performed in continental competitions the last 5 years, ranks the leagues accordingly. So as I pull up the most recent UEFA coefficient here, you can see Spain is currently on top. Also in the top four, you've got the English Premier League, German Bundesliga, Italy's Serie A. Those four leagues are considered the best in Europe. It's very rare they're not 1 to 4 in the coefficient rankings. So each of those leagues get 4 places in the following UCL season. So for example, a team, say Arsenal, could finish 4th in the English Premier League. That would be enough for them to qualify for the Champions League the next season. However, if a team plays in France, say Lyon, if they finish in 4th place, they would not make the cut for Champions League. That's because Ligue 1 in France only gets 3 slots. So Lyon would instead qualify for the Europa League, a less prestigious European competition. But anyways, you can see France and Portugal, their leagues get 3 slots. Handful of other leagues get 2 qualifying places. Countries like Russia, Belgium, Netherlands, Ukraine, Turkey, they all have pretty good leagues. And then all the other leagues in Europe get 1 spot. So for example, if you're a team in Azerbaijan, the only way you can even think about qualifying for the UEFA Champions League is by winning your entire league the year before. So it's also important, just because you see that a league has 1 Champions League spot to offer, doesn't necessarily mean that their league champion will make the final 32-team group stage in the Champions League. That's because only 26 of the 32 teams qualify for the final group stage automatically. The other 6 spots are decided in late July and August through multiple playoff rounds. There's some extra qualifying stages. And basically, we have these extra playoff stages before the start of the season to give the teams from the lesser leagues a chance to qualify. But in reality, it's very rare you're going to see teams like the league champion from, say, Lithuania or Armenia make the final group stage over a 4th place team from Italy or Germany, because those teams tend to have much better players. Also important to note, 2 spots are reserved for the reigning Champions League and reigning Europa League champions. They have to make the Champions League. So even if, say, you win the Champions League, you only finish 10th in the Premier League then the next season, that's okay, you're safe. You still got a spot in the UCL the next year. All right, so talking about format now, we've got our 32 teams. They are randomly split up into 8 groups of 4, pretty similarly to the World Cup. One thing about the random draw, though, one exception, you cannot be drawn into the same group as a team from your own country. So, for example, you will never see Real Madrid and Barcelona in the same Champions League group. That is because they both play in Spain's La Liga. But anyways, we've got our 8 groups of 4 teams. And this is an example of the groups from the 2019-2020 UCL season. Group stage typically takes place from September to December, so the first half of the soccer year. They play these Champions League games during the middle of the week, typically, because most leagues play their own matches on the weekend. And all 32 teams are guaranteed to play at least 6 group stage games. You play everyone in your group once at home and once on the road. After the 6 group stage games, then we tally up the standings, and the 8 group winners along with the 8 runner-ups, so the top 16 teams, will advance to the knockout stage. So for the round of 16, we have another random draw where each of the 8 group winners are paired up against the runner-ups. And a couple of exceptions here. Again, in the round of 16, you cannot face off against a team from your own nation. Also a rule here, you cannot play against a team from your own group. So like PSG and Real Madrid, they just played in the group stage twice. They will not be meeting up in the round of 16 because of that. Knockout stage games are 2-leg matches, so a little bit different from the single elimination nature of the World Cup. It's one match at home, one game on the road, and whoever scores the most goals over those 2 legs will advance to the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals then, another draw for the remaining 8 teams. This time you can be drawn against a team from your own nation or own group, so no exceptions here. It's a completely random draw for the quarters, and anything goes there. More 2-leg playoffs then to decide our final 4 teams. Semifinals, final 4 will face off in the same manner, and then for the final, it is a little bit different than the other knockout stage games for the final because it is not 2 legs. It's just a single 90-minute game at a neutral location, and it rotates where it is every year. It's typically just some major European city. The final 2 teams will play for the title, and of course, it will go to extra time or penalties if necessary. But yeah, just one match in the final to decide the Champions League winner. So yeah, I think we covered everything about what the Champions League is, how to qualify for it, and what the format is. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. If you enjoyed this video or found it informational, please subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media for more soccer content. And thanks a lot. I really appreciate you watching. Thanks. Cheers.